What is up, humans of the cardboard? Welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today we've got some crazy reveals. We have a new Wyrm archetype. I'm being a little quieter here because I got some people sleeping, not just regularly sleeping, but like sleeping. So I'm trying to keep it quiet here. Anyway, Wyrm archetype. It has been a fucking hot minute since we've seen worms in Yu-Gi-Oh! Really excited, pretty much since Tenyi, and it's been what, at least 3 years since them. So really excited for this. Apparently, this is the Xiangjian archetype. I don't know how it's pronounced. I'm sure the name will change prior to their release, but very cool. So let's get into this thing. Starting off here, we've got a bunch of cards. We have Mo Ye, the Shanxian Swordmaster. It's a level 4 water worm effect monster. Dope, 17/18. Pretty nice stats on a level 4. When this card is normaled or special summoned, you can reveal one Shangzhan card or a worm monster in the hand, then special summon a Shangzhan token, which will be a worm tuner, level 4 water, 0/0 attack. While that token is on your field, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except for synchro monsters. Also, if this card is sent to the graveyard as synchro material, draw one card. Damn. Okay, so real quick, pretty much if you just have any Shangzhan or worm, keep in mind this Tenyis blend pretty well with just worms in general. Shangzhan or worm card in hand, this essentially is a 1 card synchro level 8 synchro and a draw. Also, it doesn't lock you out of going into anything except synchros. So really crazy. Also, it's water, so you could just make Dragite, and it's just a spell and trap negate. This is a 1 card, 1.5. You have to have a card in hand to reveal. Spell and trap negate with a draw. Sick. Okay, love it. Next up, we have Tai A, the Shanxian Swordmaster. Okay, so Swordmasters. Level 4 Wind Wyrm. His design looks awesome. They both do, actually. They both look really cool. Level 4 Wind Wyrm, 18, 15. That's, again, solid stats. You can only use his first and second effects once per turn. You can banish a Shangzhan or worm monster from your graveyard. Shangzhan card or worm monster, by the way, so spells and traps work as well. Special summon one Shangzhan token, again, level 4 water tuner, 0 attack, 0 defense. While that token is on the field, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except synchro monsters. So same thing, but you do have to have a little setup in grave. That can be nicer though, because it doesn't require you to have specific stuff in hand. It's like later on in the duel, this is 1 card synchro level 8. Pretty good. It is wind though, so keep that in mind. So with Dragite, it isn't a 1 card negate. Second effect, if this card is sent to the graveyard as synchro material, you can send a Shangzhan card or worm monster from deck to grave. Nice. Okay, just get an extra Foolish Burial for free. I love that it's any card. That makes me think we might have some spells or traps that have effects in grave, and we know that could be very good. Think Virtual World. Mwah! Incredible. Very cool. Both cards are really good. I think this one's more of a starter. This one's could still be a turn 1 play, but takes a little more setup in grave, but still pretty nice. Here we go. Level 6, Fire Wyrm, 1200 attack, 2300 defense. This is Long Yuan, the Shangzhan tactician. Okay, first and second effects are hard once returns each. He's a big booty, but a small attack, so interesting. You can discard 1 other Shangzhan card or worm monster, special summon this card from the hand. Then you can special summon a token. This is again going to be a worm tuner, level 4 water, 0/0. While that token's on the field, you can only summon synchro monsters from the extra deck, of course. And if this card is sent to the graveyard as synchro material, you can inflict 1200 damage to your opponent. Okay, so again, as long as you just have any other Shangzhan or worm card, this is without your normal summon, a 1 card synchro 10 that also burns your opponent for 1200. This card is a solid extender. It does take a discard, but it seems like this deck's going to have some graveyard synergy, so not the end of the world there. Very interesting. I'm very curious to see. I'm assuming we're going to get a level 8 synchro and a level 10 synchro based on this guy. Very cool. Next up, we have Chunjun, the Shangzhan Auspicious Beast, level 6 Earth Wyrm, 2400, 1800, so a bigger one this time, can be a little more offensive. You can only use first and third effects once per turn. First effect, during the main phase, you contribute 1 monster to special summon this card from your hand. Yo! Lair of Darkness support? This guy's just in hand. You just quick tribute an opponent's monster as cost to summon this guy from the hand. That's actually pretty spicy. Second effect, before damage calculation, if your Wyrm monster battles an opponent's monster, special summoned from the extra deck, you can destroy that opponent's monster and this card. If we just said destroy the opponent's monster, that'd be awesome, but he does destroy himself. Kind of a bummer. And lastly, if he's sent to the graveyard as synchro material, you can target one card on the field or in either graveyard and banish it. Ooh. Wow, okay. So we'll see if we can quick synchro with him, then we're getting a banish on our opponent's field or grave. That's really strong. We know how good banish disruption is. Very interesting. So he quick effect summons himself, which is pretty nice. So you can summon himself on the opponent's turn as a quick effect to then set up a quick synchro for the banish. Very interesting. I'm very curious what how the other cards were synergized with this one. All right, now we're in the extra deck. We're starting off with Qi Xiao, the Shangzhan Grand Swordmaster. He's our level 8 light, of course, Wyrm synchro, 2800 attack, 1000 defense. Okay, very cool. His materials are any tuner plus one or more non-tuners. What's really interesting is even what are they called? What are they called? The tennies. Tennies have a level 1 tuner and 2 pretty good level 7 monsters. So even they can somewhat support this card. Very cool. You can only use the first effect of this card's name. You can only use the first effect of this card's first or second effects. Oh, sorry. You can only use one of either of its effects once per turn and only once that turn. So you can only do one per turn. Can't do both. First effect, if this card is synchro summoned, you can add to your hand or banish a Shangzhan card from deck. Wow, just on summon, just get a free search, which means this girl who's a 1.5 card free 8, you make the 8, you get a draw, and you get a search. You literally went +1. Wow, crazy. Second effect, quick effect, you can banish a Shangzhan card or a Wyrm monster from hand or grave, then target one other effect monster on the field, negate its effects until the end of the turn. Okay, this card's kind of fucking crazy, right? Like, this is a boss monster that gets you a search on summon. You have 1.5 card plays that get you into him, and so he's a +1 on summon, and then once he gets to your opponent's turn, he's just like, he's just a impermanence, essentially. Not the most powerful interruption in the world, but the fact that he has disruption included on top of the fact that he's already super easy to summon and gets you a +1 on summon, really, really good. Hell yeah, that's really good. Next up, we have our level 10. I knew we were going to have a level 10. This is Cheng Ying, the Shenzhen Grand Duke. This is a level 10 water worm synchro monster, 3,000 for the stats, so big boy here. 1 tuner plus 1 or more non-tuners. He is completely generic. Wow, okay. You can only use this card's third effect once per turn. He gains 100 attack and defense for each banished card. Monsters your opponent controls lose 100 attack and defense for each banished card. Okay, so nice little floodgate there that just kind of just makes their stats nice. Very cool. If this card would be destroyed by card effect, you can banish 1 card from your graveyard instead. Wow, so essentially he's just indestructible. Very cool. And if a card or cards becomes banished, you can banish 1 card each from your opponent's field and graveyard. Wow. Okay, so I'm thinking here, if the idea is to put these next to each other, this guy has the quick effect to banish a Shangzhan or a Wyrm from hand or grave to then do the impermanence. Then he can trigger to then banish a card from field and grave. Woo! This card's kind of crazy. He doesn't do it all by himself, but he's already annoying in the fact that he's going to be huge. Battle's almost out of the question, right? Because he's making something, unless it's like access code, obviously. Very interesting. Wow. Okay. Those are 2 really solid. Everything's been solid so far. Except for this guy. He's still questionable to me. Okay, here we go. Moving on. Spells. We've got the Shangzhan Dragon Sword appears. Normal spell. You can only use the first and second effects of this card's name once per turn. Add 1 Shangzhan monster from deck to hand. Or if you control a synchro monster, you can add a Wyrm monster instead. Okay, so this is like still even synergizing even more with like other worms. Just gives you the potential to just add anything. Mare. Oh Wow, that's crazy. Okay, cool. So yeah, just Rhoda and the potential to just search any Wyrm in the game. Cool. If this card is banished, you can target one Shangzhan or Wyrm monster you control, increase or decrease its level by 1 until the end of this turn. Okay, so I thought we might see some cards with some graveyard effects, but this one is specifically when it's banished, which is fine. We have multiple cards that want to banish them as part of the engine. Level modification, it's fine. What I like is this deck doesn't lock you into Wyrms or anything. You're actually live to go into any Wyrm and any synchro actually in the game. So maybe that level modulation just helps you get into a specific synchro. Who knows? Maybe you want to make Shenzhen as a level 9. Boom, buff a level by 1 instead of going into an 8, go into a 9. That works. Very cool. Next up, we have Janman, the Grand Spiritual Peak. This is a normal spell. You can only activate its first and second effects once per turn each. Target one Shangzhan monster in your graveyard, special summon it. If you control a synchro monster, you can target any Wyrm instead. So just monster reborn for the archetype. Okay. If this card is banished, you can target one Shangzhan or Wyrm monster you control, increase or decrease its level by 1 to the end of the turn. Again, a little bit of modification there. Fine. I don't think it's insane, but it's nice, and I'm sure there are specific combo lines that you will want to make use of these effects. But cool. Next up, traps. Xiangjian Research, normal trap card. You can only use this card's first and second effects once per turn each. Target one face-up monster you control. Banish up to 5 Shangzhan cards and or Wyrm monsters in your graveyard, and if you do that, target gains 300 attack for each. If this card is banished, you can special summon one Shangjian token. This is a Wyrm Water Tuner, level 4/0/0. While this token's on the field, you cannot special summon for the extra except synchro monsters. Now that is a legit effect. Specifically, ooh, that's actually a really cool effect. So this actually could be a playable card as a one of, maybe kind of how like Virtual World plays that like the newest trap that's not specifically good, but it is like a pseudo monster reborn. Because what is this? Which one is it? It's this one, right? No, not this guy. This guy, right? When he's used as a synchro material, you can just send any Shangzhan cards. You just send this, and then when you do anything that wants to banish this from grave, you then get another level 4 tuner extender. Could be just playable as a one of that way. Definitely playable as a one of for sure. Could be part of some combos. Interesting. And the last card here is Shangzhan Sudden Shift. Tell me this is disruption. Normal trap card. You can only use the first and second effects once per turn. Target one Wyrm you control and 2 cards your opponent controls and destroy them. Yo, this card's kind of crazy. I love these kinds of cards. Specifically, what do I love the most? This card does not tribute for cost. This card does not destroy your monster's cost, whatever. It just targets the monsters on the field. Which means even if you have like a monster that can tag out or something, you don't even have to worry about losing your card, but you still destroy theirs. Very, very nice. It is targeting destruction, but it's 2 cards at once, which is really strong. This deck seems to have graveyard synergy, so that's not a big deal. Second effect of this card's banished, special summon a Shangzhan token. Very cool. And then while the token's on the field, you can only summon synchros from the extra deck. Cool. So this one's like, I don't know why you'd ever play this card then, unless there's specifically combos where you're sending both of these to grave in the same turn just to get 2 level 4 tuners. I don't know why you'd ever play this. This card seems like crazy. If you're playing like a more control-oriented version, I mean, this card's just generic Wyrm support. So I'm considering playing this in anything Wyrm related. This also, oh my God, that's Yang Zings. This card just destroys a Wyrm. Yang Zings, just all of them float into more Yang Zings. This card's crazy for them. Oh, this card's awesome. I love these kinds of cards. We just got like the new die card that's like similar, but for warriors. We've already had like Icarus Attack, and like we have the dragon one, and we have the machine one. There's so many cards like this. It's like awesome to see. Hell yeah. I like this archetype a lot. I think there's a ton of potential here. Do I think it's fully there just yet? Probably not. It definitely seems like what is it really setting up that's like uber powerful? I don't know, but you get to the synchro is pretty easy. Even if you just make like a 1 card level 8, like with the girl, right? Like you just like make him. He's getting you a search for the trap, which is a pop 2. She is getting you a draw. So you're just drawing. There's another +1. And then he's an Imperm on top of that. So even as a 1-card combo, you have Imperm, a pop 2, and you drew a card. Pretty good, man. Shiz. I'm really curious to see what this deck can do out the gate. I actually think it has potential out the gate as a rogue deck. I just don't know if it's quite doing enough to be meta out the gate. But very cool, very interesting. I want to see how this works with Tenyi. I want to see how this works with stuff like Xiangjian. Very curious on so much stuff right now. This is so crazy. I'm hella hyped for this archetype. I'm gonna end it off here though. Thank you so much for watching, as always, guys. Let me know in the comments, please. Let me know what you think of this archetype. Very curious to hear your thoughts. If there are any synergies with other Wyrm archetypes that I can't think of, or cards, let me know down below. And let me know your thoughts. Just so dope. All right, I'm gonna get out of here before I stall any longer. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't. You want to see the rest of Burst of Destiny reveals reviewed on the channel. Bye.